A former England wicket-keeper has exclusively revealed to Sky News how he turned down millions of pounds to fix a cricket match. It came as the first English county cricketer, former Essex bowler Mervyn Westfield, was sentenced for agreeing to concede a fixed number of runs in a betting scam. Our sports news correspondent Ian Doveston reports.
Mervyn Westfield arriving at the Old Bailey to be jailed for 4 months for spot fixing. In court, the name of the former Pakistan and Essex cricketer Danish Canaria loomed large. He, Westfield's defence QC argued, was the middleman who relentlessly pressured Westfield to cheat on behalf of bookmaker friends. Westfield may feel totally alone tonight, but he surely isn't.
Ask Paul Nixon, the former England wicket-keeper. He was offered and turned down £5 million to fix a game at Leicestershire's Grace Road 2 years ago. And today, before his book is published this summer, he reveals details of that approach for the first time.
I was sort of befriended by a chap, and we had a couple of meetings about other things, about a property development that I'm involved with. We then met in a Leicester hotel, and he said he had a business venture for me to look at. And he offered me quite a considerable amount of money to throw a game, a 2020 game, Leicestershire versus Northampton. It was a TV game. He told me that it had to be TV games that were going to be broadcast in India, and the money was many millions to fix that game. And
many millions to you?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it was enormous money, life-changing money.
Nixon's story provides a whole new perspective on the life of a cricketer in England, surrounded by temptation.
They also offered me some money as a bit of as a softener, as an introduction to it all. In the back of a car, it was in a suitcase in a car. Luckily, I was a strong enough character to say no.
Westfield, 21 at the time, wasn't a strong character. He was on just £20,000 a year at Essex when he deliberately underperformed, bowling against the Durham batsmen. He was snared by two things: an Essex teammate, fellow bowler Tony Palladino, whom he'd shown a sports bag full of cash, and bank records that proved he deposited thousands of pounds into an account following his spot fix.
It's not only the major international stars who face prosecution if they accept bribes, but also those who play in the domestic leagues. Sports fans who pay hard-earned money to watch competitive matches have a right to expect players to do their honest best for the team, whether they're playing in a large international arena or at the local ground.
What the case of Mervyn Westfield tells us is that the virus of spot fixing has spread to cricket in this country. As a former Essex player, he was able to bring it here to Durham's first-class home in Chester Street. The big question now is, how far has that infection spread?
If the Riverside isn't safe from the attentions of corrupt bookmakers on the subcontinent, then perhaps nowhere and no one is. After all, match fixing ended the career of a South African legend in Hansie Cronje back in 2000, before conspiracy theories surrounded his death as the only passenger in a plane crash 2 years later. It's one thing in the international game, but that it has infiltrated domestic cricket is a wake-up call for those with responsibility to the players.
It is inconceivable that nobody else has been approached, and we indeed know of a handful of other cases where people have been approached and thankfully have said no. But equally, I don't think that the game is rotten. I don't think that the problems are rife. I think it's somewhere between those two extremes.
The cricketing authorities will not point to Westfield as an isolated case. He does earn the dubious honour of becoming the first English cricketer to be sentenced for fixing. But in reality, almost certainly, he is simply the first to be caught. Ian Doveston, Sky News.
A man has been